Bueno, amigos de Claro Sports, amigos de Tres Rounds, soltamos la alfombra roja. We have the red carpet here because today, hoy tenemos al ex campeón peso ligero, actual campeón peso pluma, que estará defendiendo su cinturón en One Enter the Matrix el 30 de octubre desde Florida, Martin Nguyen. Martin, how are you, man?
I'm very well, man. Yeah, training hard, living the life, living the dream out here in Florida.
So let's start there, because obviously you had like a hard journey. You were like one of the next events when COVID hit. You were in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. When everything hit, you had to like go to Australia just to get back into the country. How was that situation where you were like training for a fight in April and then suddenly the world stops?
Yeah, man. It was actually so surreal. I didn't really believe it until it actually happened. I was here training for a fight camp. I was preparing for Thanh Le, same opponent as who I'm going to fight October 30th. And we were about a week and a half out from having to fly out for fight weekend. As time got closer, there was no promotion of the event. There's nothing. No one was saying anything, so we were all walking on eggshells basically. And I had to make the ultimate decision to go home to my family because the borders were closing and no one was allowed in and out. And I gave one championship the heads up, is the event happening? If not, I'm going to go home to my family, and I gave them a day. Okay, I'm giving you guys by Sunday. And the rest was history. There was no announcements, and I have to make the ultimate decision. I have to go back to my family. And so I did, and what do you know, the event was cancelled and the world was put on hold.
And how difficult is that part? Because, like, I don't know if a lot of people know you're training, like, for the last few fights over there in Florida, stuff for MMA with Henry Hooft, with obviously your girlfriend, Aung La N Sang. For the people in Mexico, with Irvin Rivera, who also trains there. You, like, leave your family to a 6-week, 8-week camp for at the time for those fights. How difficult was it to have that uncertainty that you're, like, so far away from home at those times?
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's an ultimate sacrifice that we make as fighters. For me, I made the ultimate decision to put all my eggs in a basket, and everything that I have and everything that I will give in this sport, I'll put it all together through Sanford MMA. And it was unfortunate at the times where I did prepare for a fight in November, and then I did prepare for a fight in April, and both of those fights fell through. And ultimately it was out of my control, so I don't really try to stress much over the stuff that I can't control. And I just go with the flow, and it is what it is. And this fight came around, and it's full bottle ahead now.
When did you know this fight was going to happen in late October? Because obviously, the UFC obviously has a lot of talent in the US. Promotions like Bellator too. One championship is like the good thing, or now the difficult thing, of having fighters all around the world, all around Asia, in the US, in Europe. When did you know that you were going to be able to do this event in Singapore? It's going to be just the third event in Singapore after the events that One Championship could do in Bangkok. When did you know that this fight was going to be possible? And obviously that this show was going to be so big. You're sharing obviously the fight with Aung La, but also like with an old nemesis like Christian Lee. Sean Jingnan is also in the fight for championship. When did you know that you were going to have this fight on October 30th?
So we knew. Ultimately I came back to start fight camp. It was like an 80-20% chance it was going to happen. And the moment I got over here, I got confirmation from Chatri saying that this is who I'm fighting and this is the date. Now the whereabouts we don't know yet, but they were throwing events in Thailand, and I knew at the time they were in talks with the Singapore government, but nothing was solid, concrete. Only took until like last week or the week before, 2 weeks ago, that we had a solid location and everything was a full go ahead. And it was two basically weeks ago. We knew that it was happening in Singapore, but the fight was what.
Oh, perfect. How relieved were you that they kept the same challenger? Because I think when that fight was talked about for April, that one is one of the ones that got us all excited. Thanh Le obviously has definitely made a mark in the US, has definitely made a mark in One Championship. The featherweight division is obviously one of the most difficult divisions in One Championship. Were you glad that they were able to keep this fight, which is such a high level fight for you guys?
Yeah, so basically, I signed the contract. We both signed the contract to fight in April. We both made a pledge to yeah, with our signature on the contract. So when it fell through, I kind of said to myself, man, I made a promise to myself that I was going to finish this guy. So regardless of COVID or whatever, the moment we're about to, we're allowed to fight again, this is the guy I want, and I want to fulfill this contract. And then once this contract is over and done with, I can move on with my life. And Thanh, you know, I've been preparing for him since the start of the year. So, you know, I wasn't going to just let that slide away from me and then let someone else come in and take his shine. So he deserved the title shot. He got the title shot, and now it's just a matter of, you know, us dueling it out and may the best man win.
And how difficult was it? Like, what have you? What do you need to travel to Singapore? Because obviously Singapore was one of the countries that's been closed the most. Obviously, you in Australia, they have like a 14-day quarantine period when you travel to Australia. It was difficult for you to leave Australia. You need a special permission from the government. But what do you need, or what arrangements have been made for your travel, like you and Aung La and your corners from Florida to Singapore for the fight?
Yeah, so we have to follow protocols that One Championship sets. So from what I know, what we've done so far, we've answered a whole lot of questions that they've asked. We have to get COVID tests done 72 hours before the flight. I know when we get there, we have to do another COVID test, and we have to quarantine for the 2 days until the test comes back. And then saying that we're not allowed to leave the hotel afterwards. We still have to stay within the bubble of the hotel. If we are going to train, there's designated training spots for all of us. There's no hanging out or anything like that. We're just going to be stuck in a room up until fight day. And then after fight day, we have to quarantine for another 2 days, and then we're allowed to leave home. So it's still going to be at least another month before I get to, you know, see my family and be able to touch them and hug them and grab them.
Oh, man, that's hard, man. I'm really sorry for that. Just to head to the end, Martin, how excited are you to share a card with Aung La? Obviously, like, he's an amazing figure for Asian MMA, now worldwide in one championship. Your relationship, like, we can see your relationship during the fights when you're cornering Aung La, for example, like going into the cage and hugging him and jumping. We see your faces when you guys are like around each other. How good is it to share a fight with him?
Definitely, man. We want nothing but the best for each other. You know, we have the same struggles. I know what we both have the same purpose. You know, we want to provide the best for our family, and that's the man. Like, you couldn't be any more happier than to see a good friend, a good-hearted person, you know, win and succeed. That's what you want for anyone in life, you know. And yeah, we fought on the same card before. When I fought Kazunori Yokota, he fought Batali Big Dash for the middleweight title, and that's where I first met Aung La. And then since then, we've been trying to get on the same card, and now the stars are aligned. He's the main event, I'm the Coco main event, and the rest is history. We're gonna have a fun night. We obviously won't be able to be in each other's corners. We've got the coaches there, and we're there to do a job. And until the job's over, then we can celebrate. So,
I mean, if you ask me, there's 4 main events that night, because that's like an amazing card, and 4 belts, you know. Obviously, like, the people in Mexico, Martin, has really sympathized with you in Latin America because of your style, a style that goes forward, a style that's with a lot of heavy punches, that overhand right, obviously, that's like an amazing punch for Mexicans. Maybe just the second most liked after the liver hook, which we love obviously here. Were you a fan of like any Latin American fighters, any Mexican fighters, when you were like growing up and watching sports?
Not necessarily. Growing up watching sports, I'm more of a rugby type of guy, and that's what I played and that's what I followed. But in terms of, you know, evolving as a martial artist and an athlete, I was introduced to my Filipino boxing coach. He's got like a Mexican style. And then I have another boxing coach back in Australia who, you know, it's all like just smart pivots and body punches and, you know, the liver shots. And that's how I fight now. Like, I feel like, for me, even when I spar with my teammates, I'd rather attack the body than go for the head. Yeah, the head punches are there, but it's more satisfying seeing someone drop from a liver shot, and that's the main thing that I go for these days. Yeah.
Yeah, we always say here that's putting money in the bank. There's money in the bank for like 2-3 rounds. Yeah, 2-3 rounds, money in the bank, and then you just, you know, you break the piggy, you get the money, you get the knockout, man.
No,
I
man,
really.
no.
Thank you very much, Martin. Can't wait to do the play-by-play for that event. That event has really exciting. And for me, the fight of the night, Martin Nguyen against Thanh Le. Thank you very much for your time, Martin.
Thank you, sir.